Hi guys, it's Webby and welcome back to another video. Today I'm down at Peninsula Skoda testing out their Kodiaq RS. So this is the first video I'm going to make with the guys down here at Peninsula Skoda. They've recently become part of the group that the dealership I work out is involved with. So it's a new franchise for our group. So I spoke to the guys down here and said, look, can I come and drive a couple of cars? And they said, yeah, sure, come down. Have a look and see what we've got. So the first video today is going to be the Kodiaq RS, which I'm really looking forward to. I've read a couple of reviews on this car, seen some videos, and it seems a really interesting proposition. So I'm keen to get behind the wheel, learn what the car's all about, and look at some of the unique features on this car. So come and join me. Let's jump in the car, go for a drive, and see what we think. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a beanie and it's sunny, it's also bloody cold outside as well. It's a bit windy. It's only about 10 degrees here in Melbourne at the moment. So yeah, hence the beanie. So go around some really twisty hairpin bends here on the way up to Arthur's Seat, and it punches out really well out the corners. Yeah, this is a really good engine. I like this. But the steering is really nicely weighted. It's got enough sort of feel to it, you know exactly what's going on, and yeah, it weighs up as you go faster, like most electric systems these days. This is actually really fun to drive for an SUV particularly.
You have arrived.
That was actually a really fun drive, coming up to all the twisty hills on the way out to Arthur's Seat, which is where I am now. Like I said, it went around the tight hairpins really well. You know, you could put your foot down and accelerated really well out of the corners. And yeah, it just, you know, going around the corners, it just feels like it feels similar to my Golf, which is a great effort considering it's a much bigger, much heavier car. It's longer. You know, it's not designed to sort of be driven like that really. But I guess being the RS model, you know, it's got different sport suspension. You know, wider wheels, that type of thing, so that does help. But even so, it's still impressive to drive. So now I'm going to actually have a look around the car, show you some of the features, a bit of, you know, what's on the outside, the inside, and then some of the little niche bits and pieces I was talking about earlier. So yeah, let's do that next, I reckon. So here's the outside of the Kodiaq RS. I think it's quite a stylish looking car without being too over the top, because some cars just go a little bit too far, but this is, you know, nicely done. It's got a nice sort of grille at the front. It's got the LED daytime running lamps, that type of thing. It's got these really nice looking 20-inch alloy wheels, which are a really nice design, and don't look too difficult to keep clean either. I like nice little touches like the red brake calipers. Just gives that sort of sporty intention to the car, that it's a bit more than just your sort of bugger standard model. But yeah, it's sort of fairly discreet on the outside. as you'd imagine, it's got all the parking sensors, side sensors for park assist and that type of thing. I do like the way they've changed the rear badges on the car. So you've got kind of the big Skoda across the back rather than the round emblem there in the middle. Much more sort of modern, and a lot of manufacturers seem to be sort of going down that route, which is quite nice looking. I like the fact that the badges are in black as well, particularly on this white car. They sort of stand out quite a bit. So it's just another sort of sporty look to the car, I suppose. But it's still very, very practical. Remember, this is actually a 7-seat SUV. It's not a sporty hatchback, but it just has a nice sort of look about it. So that's the outside of the vehicle. Let's have a look inside, and so I'll show you some of those really sort of trick features that the Skoda have got. So getting inside the car, as you'd expect, we've got keyless entry. We've then got push button start as well, which is pretty sort of common these days. We've got a really good audio system by a brand called Canton. If you've never heard of them, they make some really good hi-fi speakers. Seats, electrically adjustable, but you've also got a couple of memory options as well, so you can store 3 people's memory positions in there. So if you share the car driving, really handy features to have. So now jumping in the front of the car, the push button is just round there to the side of the steering column. So it's a case of just foot on the brake to start her up. You've got this nice digital display there straight in front of you. And you've got the bigger screen there for your sat nav, etc. And the downside to screens like these is you can probably see there's heaps of fingerprints. It's very sort of reflective. I guess one of the downsides of one of these sort of touchscreens that is on pretty much every car these days. But yeah, coming back to this display in front of you, as you can see, everything is digital. It's really nice and clear and nicely laid out. You can change, with these buttons here, you can basically change what you see in front of you. So you just basically cycle through with this button here, and then you sort of use the little scroll wheel up and down here to actually choose what you want. So once you press the first button, you can go through all different sorts of readouts just to sort of determine what you prefer. So it's really user friendly. So there's lots of things you can do with it. The view button then changes it again. So look at that, you can actually get a full widescreen view of the sat nav. How cool is that? I do like that. That's a neat feature. And with a little the scroll wheel that I showed you a second ago, you can actually zoom in and out of the sat nav. Being a bit of a gadget freak, that really appeals to me. I like that. But other than that, yeah, steering wheel is nice and easy laid out. Like I say, the sat nav is very similar to the one that I had in the Golf, if you see that video. Your home button literally takes you back to there, so you've got a selection of navigation, phone. That would be where your Apple CarPlay would pop up just as a link to hit the button there. But it's all user friendly, it is dead simple. If you go into the menu, that actually gives you options as where you can actually configure certain things on the car itself. So I'll just come in a little bit closer so you can see a bit better. So yeah, so that's all the different things that you can adjust, and you just swipe across and you can literally, go into every single sort of option, change all the settings as how you want things to work. It's such a nice system to use, and looks really smart and premium as well. As I said earlier, you've got all your air conditioning and heating controls just down there. But then you also got buttons for the parking cameras. That one is for the active park assist, and then you've got the stop start, so you can deactivate the stop start. So it's really simple to use. It's nice and easy. I do quite like this little VRS badge on the gear stick. That's quite a nice, neat little touch. As it says, DSG. It's got a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, which with this twin turbo diesel engine works really well. Other buttons that you've got down here, so you've got your driving modes, you've got your electric handbrake, because there's no manual one, and that's an automatic hold for the electric handbrake, which is quite cool. That one disengages your traction control, and then you've got various different off-road modes, so you can basically change that depending on what road surface you're going on. A bit like a lot of other cars, to be fair. Just in front of the the gear stick, you've actually got a wireless charging pad for your phone as well, along with a 12-volt socket and also a USB. So you're pretty sort of well covered on that front. So as you can see, it's a nice place to be. It's not too fussy. There's not lots of buttons everywhere, because I guess everything is on this central screen that you can set up all your different features. It's got a kind of, I guess you'd call it a I don't know, fake carbon fibre sort of finish to the dash, which is actually quite nice. It's like a satin finish. It's not too glossy and in your face. It's just a nice sort of finish to the interior. And I like the way the Alcantara from the seats extends up to the door panels as well. And you've got all sort of the diamond stitching, which just again makes it feel a bit more upmarket. Carpet on the door bins, which is very VW. Again, a good thing that I really like, which carries over again from my Golf. So that's the VRS badge that I mentioned earlier when we were driving along on the seat. Again, you've got the diamond stitching there on the Alcantara. So yeah, overall, really good family car. Oh, geez, that's cold outside. Right, so stepping into the back of the car, loads and loads of leg space in front of me. There's actually a bar underneath, so you can adjust it all the way back if you're particularly tall, or if you're like me and you're not. Bring it forward a bit, and obviously that then creates a bit more leg space for people in the back as well. As I say, loads and loads of foot space, which is fantastic. Loads of head space as well, which is really cool. These rear seats are heated. You've got some buttons down here just by the air vents. So you've got air vents in the back as well. And I say heated seats. We've got a 12-volt power socket down the bottom. Would have been nice to send a couple of USBs down there, I think, actually. Probably would have been a bit more appropriate these days for people plugging in phones and iPads and that type of thing. But nonetheless, you've still got a 12-volt power socket there as well. And so this Alcantara and leather finish obviously continues into the back from the front seats. You've also got some neat little window blinds as well. So on warmer days you can pop them up, particularly if you've got young children in the back as well. That would be quite handy, or even just a hot day to keep the inside of the car cool. We've then also got a nice armrest as well. You've got 3 cup holders there, so plenty of space for drinks and that type of thing. But yeah, it's a nice place back here. There's plenty of space. You get a really good view as well. The glass area down the side is really good. You can see perfectly without the front windscreen. So your visibility even as a rear passenger is really nice. I'd imagine if you had a panoramic sunroof, that would be good as well. And even though this has got a black headlining, it doesn't feel dark and gloomy inside, which often when you've got a black headlining it feels a little bit enclosed and claustrophobic. Maybe that's because obviously it's quite a tall cabin and you just get that sort of nice airy feeling inside the car. But yeah, it's really nice back here. You don't feel like a second-rate passenger sat in the back of the car. I'll show you the how you get in the back as well to get people in the back of the car. So to get into the third row of seats, you literally, this lever up here, you just pull this lever. So then the seat will tilt, but it also slides at the same time. And there you go, you've got nice easy access into the back of the car. And as I said, you can slide these middle row seats to then create more legroom for people in the back. So looking inside the boot with all 7 seats up in place, you've actually still got a reasonable amount of storage, which isn't always the case on a lot of SUVs. Normally, you know, once you put all 7 seats up, you lose pretty much all your boot. But you've actually still got a fair amount of space in here, which is quite good. The seats fold down really easily. You've literally just got this lever up here, squeeze that, and drops down really simply. And then you've just got that little loop handle there. Just grab that, pull it back up into place, so it's dead simple. Now, if you're wondering what's in here, this is actually quite a neat little package in here. You've got a blanket. So whether that's, I don't know, an elderly parent's getting cold, you can put a blanket over their legs, or something like that. That's quite nifty, or I guess you could use it as a picnic blanket as well. But that's quite a neat little touch, and that's actually standard. You don't pay any extra for that. It's actually a standard part of the car, so I think that's really cool. Tailgate is electric, as you probably imagine on most cars these days, and you can have the feature where, you know, you wave your leg under and then it shuts as well. So yeah, that does it on obviously on opening and closing. But yeah, literally everything you can see on this car is standard. The only two options you can get is a panoramic sunroof, and you can get some side steps down the side of this car. So this particular one has got neither of those options. So if you're wondering how much all this costs, well, this particular car is $72,000, which you might think is expensive because obviously Skoda isn't, you know, one of the bigger brands here in Australia. But when you look at actually what you get for your money, all this tech, all these features are standard. As I said before, the only option is a sunroof and some side steps. So everything else is standard on the car. You don't need to pay for anything else, unless you choose a different colour, you know, with a metallic paint option. So they are a really good value for money. They've got a 5-year warranty like most cars nowadays. So I think it's definitely something, you know, if you're a family, you've got some kids, or you just want to transport quite a few people around, older parents, just, you know, a bunch of friends that you sort of go out with on a regular basis, it's a really good option. And say for a 7-seater, there's plenty of space for everybody. You know, no one really gets squashed. So yeah, I think it's a good option. So there you go, there's my video of the Skoda Kodiaq RS. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to find out when more videos go live. Again, a huge thanks to the guys at Peninsula Skoda in Frankston. Got to give them a big shout out for letting me in the car for the day. If you're interested in one of them, give them a call, and they'll be able to help you out with whatever you're looking for. So thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.